Hey, good evening, fam. Good evening. Had a long day today, so I'm gonna stop by and pick up dinner. Right. So lately, I've been making myself, dinners, trying not to eat out, trying to save some money. But today, is just one of those days, right? So I'm actually headed to one of my favorite place here, in Baltimore, which is a place called Tasha's Ankh. It's a Caribbean restaurant, right? So, but what I wanna talk about today. What's up, brother? How you doing? How you doing? So today I was having a conversation with one of my client, right? And she was talking about, because she was trying to send me some referrals, and she was telling me how she was talking to people. Hey, how you doing? I'm ready for you. I placed the order. You're not on camera. Maxwell. Yes. So yeah. Oh, you're not on camera. I would have told you. Yes, ma'am. What's up? No, I'm good. Yes. So let's get this real quick. So she was telling me how some people that she's talking to is still, not don't have an understanding, right, of life insurance, right, and how life insurance works, right? Like some people. Yes, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Awesome. So yeah. So how some people don't have life insurance, and they don't understand life insurance still, right? Because she was telling them that she has $1 million in life insurance, right? And they're asking her, why do you have that much in life insurance, right? Like your kids are gonna be the one that's going to enjoy the money, right? And she said she laughed. That's my point. When she told me that, she laughed too, right? Because that right there is the thinking, right, of our people, right? And listen, this is Tasha's Ankh. So if you guys ever in Baltimore, this is the best Caribbean restaurant in all of Baltimore. I would even say all of Maryland, to be honest with you, right? But yeah, so back to what I was saying, right? So she laughed at him, right? But this is the mindset of our community, right? And it's sad to say, because it's almost like we don't have a sense of the future. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't understand that the children, right, are our future, right? Every other community plan for the future of their children. Our community, right? And I can say this because as an agent that's been in business now for 16 years, right? Rarely would I go to a home, and I hate to say this, right? But real is real. Rarely would I go to a home of an Asian person, right? And they ask me for less than $500,000 in life insurance, right? But when I go to our people, right, they tell me, so how much can I get for $25,000? Or how much can I get for? And I'm looking around like, hold up, I see a bunch of children running around here. What's 25,000? What? You know what I'm saying? So it's just sad to say, right? And as we speak right now, I carry about 1.8 million. Right. I'm trying to get myself to a point where I'm carrying 3 to 5 million at some point. Which it will happen, because I understand that the way you build wealth, right, the way you build your generation, right, your legacy and stuff like that, right. You know what I'm saying, is by leaving, a massive amount of money and asset behind, so your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, right, can live on, right, and do some great things, right. And most of us, we're leaving debt behind. We're not leaving anything of significance behind. You understand? So to me, it's crazy. I shared a story the other day, right, with this gentleman who is out there in Jersey. The gentleman had a home, and over time, right, he accumulates so much debt, right, and there was liens that went onto their property, right? And the man didn't have any life insurance. So when he passed away, the children obviously, got the house or whatever. But before they was able to get the house, they had to satisfy, a bunch of liens and stuff like that. So when the house was sold, the lien holders, or the people that put the lien on the property, they took their money, and the children, was left with $50,000 to split between four children. Okay, and no life insurance. So that's about $25,000 that went to each child before taxes, right? So listen, I hope this won't offend anybody, right? But one of my mission, right, is to educate and to enlighten our community, right? Our community, right? Because we always sit here and talk about how our community, right, is underserved, right? And I'm gonna say we do it to ourselves. Real talk. A lot of people are not gonna like this, right? But we do it to ourselves. And the reason why I say is this: if this was in the 70s and the 80s or whatever like that, I might let you get away with that. But we are in the 2000s, right? Right? The information age, right? Where we get all these bombardment. I mean, I cannot turn on TikTok, right, without seeing something about life insurance or IU or whatever. But yet still, in our community, okay, we don't have any life insurance. And if we do, it's the minimal amount. I need somebody to message me, right, and tell me, why do we think this way? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much love can we really say that we have for our children or our spouses, right? Some people will tell you, a lot of my community, right? A lot of my community, right? Africans, right? They say, oh yeah, I can leave them the house and they can do whatever they want to do with it. Well, if you talk to any estate lawyer, right, they will tell you most of the time, the children are not going to keep that house. They're going to sell that house and everybody go their own way. After they sell that house, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. Most lawyers will tell you it's best to leave your children money. It's best because after the taxes on that house, after the sale of that house, and you have 3 or 4 children, it doesn't amount to anything at all. At all, right? So listen, I kind of want us to change. I want us to change our mentality or the way we think. I'm not sitting here saying you all should go out here and get $1 million or whatever if you can't afford it. But realistically speaking, and everybody I'm going to assume everybody who got at least American education understand inflation. Right? And you can understand that, hey, listen, if I get a $25,000 policy, I'm only 50 and I pass away at like 85, 90. You might as well not get that policy at all. Because by the time inflation hits that thing, your family has to come out of pocket with extra just to bury you. You understand? So I don't listen. For the life of me, it's something that I would never. It's been 16 years, and I still don't understand it. Now I'm not saying all black people are like this, because I do have quite a few clients who are walking around here with a $500,000 policy, $1 million policy, $2 million policy. But the majority, I go into at least about maybe 300 plus homes a year, and I'm gonna say 70+% of that home, they are looking to do the lease. And I've never understood. It's not until something bad is about to happen to them before, right, they decide, oh, how much can I get extra coverage? And then you say, okay, no problem. You start asking health question, and boom, they had a stroke a couple of months ago. Or boom, they had a heart attack. And now they get that scared. And now the scare becomes real. And now they're looking around and say, oh my God, if something would have happened, my wife would have been screwed. If something would have happened, my kids would have been screwed. You understand? So I don't listen. I don't like life insurance. To me, is a sexy thing. People don't make it. People don't look at it that way. There's not a better feeling than walking around knowing that you got a significant amount of life insurance and you're secure. Like something happens to you out here in these streets, that your children are going to be okay. There is nothing scarier than walking around here, no savings, no assets, no life insurance, and you got children. Okay? If you ask a nurse, I got a lot of clients who are nurses, right? If you ask a nurse, right, and I've heard this story many, many a time, right? Most nurses will tell you that when someone is on their deathbed, their fear isn't their dying. The fear is usually, how is their children gonna be okay? What's gonna happen to their children? That shouldn't be a fear of yours if you're going to go meet your maker. The fear of that you should be having is, okay, maybe I didn't spend enough time with the kids, or maybe I didn't really enjoy my life like that. But the fear of you not leaving anything for your children, or you don't know your children gonna be okay, should be the last on your list. And that is sad to say. And I know someone's gonna jump on here and say, oh, you never know what somebody went through and somebody's situation. I can acknowledge that. I can acknowledge that. But there are a lot of people out here who if we want to be honest, who I don't want to say couldn't give a damn about their family, and they out here spending money. Like I know a young lady who's a real good friend of mine, right? And who's about to be married to an individual that has 3 children, I believe, right? And she's trying to get this gentleman to get insurance. And this guy made real good money. Okay? But he's like, oh, they have if something happens, I'm saying they have their mother. Listen, I know some of y'all want to be married, but you won't be married that bad to be with a person who, because if that's the way they feel about their children, how you think they're gonna feel about you? Listen, man, like nowadays, like people who I'm dealing with nowadays, right? People who I deal with nowadays, the way I deal with people, like if how can I put this? I don't mess with people who put their family last. I don't mess with people who don't consider security. It is a risk dealing with people, right? Who don't understand finances, who don't understand pre-planning. That is a risk for a person to take on. You understand? Like, think about it for a second. You get with an individual, right? The person has no life insurance. They has no living benefits. They have no long-term care. Okay? They have minimal retirement savings to none. And you gotta take that in. Can you imagine that? Like, okay, you get with the person, right? The person falls sick. They have no insurance at all. They have no living benefits. They have no long-term care or nothing. And now you are solely responsible for taking care of their care financially. That will cripple an individual. You understand? That will cripple an individual. So I'm not saying don't deal with an individual, but you gotta start looking at people's behavior. You gotta start looking at what people are doing, with the money that they have. You know what I'm saying? With their resources. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have fun with your money, but you also gotta, it has to be a balance. Okay? If you walking around here and you don't save, that's a no. If you walking around here, you ain't got no life insurance and you got children, that's a no. If you walk around here and you don't consider, God forbid, some health situations occur, and you don't have a plan in place to take care of yourself, to be able to pay the medical bills or whatever and things like that, that's a no. Okay? Medical bill can bankrupt an individual. Medical bills can bankrupt you. You understand? So this is the whole, like, you know, when I sit here and I try to talk to our people and educate our people, you know, in reference to insurance, and they don't get it. And then on the same breath, they want to tell you, oh, we are underserved, and you know, this other group of people, they have all the money and blah, blah, blah. Well, where do you think their money came from? Where do you think their money came from? They did the right thing. Their parents did the right thing. They put money together. They insured themselves. So when they pass away, their legacy can live on. Their children can be okay. And then their children took that money and multiply it. Whereas we leave nothing. And we're still doing that till today. So if we're gonna point fingers, we gotta point it right back. I'm just being honest. If we're gonna point fingers, we gotta point it right back to us. Because we can sit here and complain about what other groups of people have and blah, blah, blah. And then we look at ourselves and we got all the Louis in our closet. All the Gucci's in our closet. Chanel. Birkin. Right? You take out a calculator and calculate how much you spend on traveling this year. That's more than, you know, for most people, the amount they spend, especially nowadays with everybody doing this whole traveling thing, the amount a person spend a year, even if they only if they only take that, if they only split that cost in half, right? That's enough to probably buy $1 million IUL policy. That 10 years from now, you can actually see some tangible, you know, solid result as to what you spent your money on. You understand? But people don't want to do that. They want to live for today and then cry tomorrow. They want to live for today and then tell you it's the government responsibility to take care of them. How? How, Sway? Explain to me how. You understand? Like, you have 40 years of work life, right? And in 40 years, you don't have any retirement income. In 40 years, you don't have any financial portfolio. But people gonna get on here and say, oh, Maxwell, you don't have any sympathy, blah, blah, blah. I do have sympathy. That's why I'm doing these videos. So it doesn't happen to other people. You understand? I think the problem is we have too much sympathy. Real talk. I think the problem is people expect you to have sympathy so that way they don't feel bad. I think the problem is people don't expect you to shame. We took shame away. And I hate to say this, but I think sometimes we have to keep it real. It should be shameful for you not to have any long-term savings. It should be. It should be extremely shameful for you to have children and you're walking around here with minimal to no life insurance and you have children. It should be shameful. But I'm not here to judge. I'm not you know, I can only save as many as I can save, right? But I enjoy doing this video because I know it's touching people. I get calls and text messages and stuff like that now in reference to my video. You know, I get people's mind, you know, I get people thinking now, you know, and I feel as though like I'm doing my job, you know. And I know I can't save everybody. I'm only one agent, right? But I just want the best, you know, for our community. Because let me tell you, the other communities, the reason why their children are trust fund baby is because they are doing the right things with their money. They're not buying Louis, they're not buying Gucci, they're not buying Birkins, they're not doing all these wild things. They're not traveling 5 or 6 times a year. Some do, the one that have money. You understand? A lot of us don't have money like that, but we want to travel like people with money. It's wild to me. It's wild to me. You don't make great money, but you want to travel 4 or 5 times out of the year. If you're taking 5 weeks out the year to travel, and then you still have your days off, you know how much work hours that you're missing? You know how much potential income that you could be drawing in? I don't know. I just think our thinking has to change. You understand? Like, the government don't owe us anything. As a matter of fact, don't even count. You can sit here and cry about what you feel as though they owe you, but it ain't gonna work though. You owe yourself. You got to plan for you. The government has no plan for you. Okay? The government you are not in their plan. Just so you know. Okay? Okay? You are not in their plan. You got a plan for you. And that's the only way you will ever reach success. Listen, I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed evening. I just want to share that today because I just find it odd that in 2025 that people are still asking people why they have $1 million in life insurance, that their children will be the one that's going to eat the money. That's crazy to me. Your children should be the one that eat the money. You know, whenever I hear people say, "Oh, I don't want to make my children rich. I don't want to get rich off of me," I'm like this. Then why did you have children? To me, I'm like, people tell me I'm harsh. When I hear people say that, that's harsh. Like you don't want your children to live better than you lived? That's crazy. Martin Luther King died so we can live better than he lived. You understand? Jesus died so we can live better than he lived. And you tell me, "Oh, I don't want my children, to have it easy, and they should work hard for what they." This is crazy stuff to me. This is crazy stuff. Right? Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to park this big old house I'm driving around. Right? So listen, I try to help people understand, like, I need you to help me understand that thought process, that you don't want to make anybody rich. You don't want to make your children rich. I don't understand. Like, whenever I hear somebody tell me that's a person just telling me they don't want to be disciplined enough, right, to put money away. They want to continue their spending, right, so that way they don't have to be forced to do right by their children. There's nothing you can tell me that is not what's going on. Okay? Because to me, like, why do you have children if you don't want the best for them? You want them to come to this earth and suffer because you may have suffered? That's wild stuff. That's not that's not how life is supposed to be. And again, people use that as an excuse because guess what? If you are great with savings and you are disciplined with savings, right? You should be able to transfer that over to your children. You should be able to teach your children how to do the same thing that you've done. So to me, that's an excuse that people make in reference to, I don't want to make somebody rich. Like, and just FYI, $500,000 ain't making nobody rich. If you're 40 years old right now and you get a $500,000 life insurance policy and you pass away at 90, you guys can do the math on this. You guys can actually go on Google and on this and factor in what inflation is going to be 40 years from now and how much 500K is worth 40 years from now, it ain't going to be worth much. So you're not making nobody rich. You know, I remember one time somebody told me, why do you have $1.8 million in life insurance? Like, you only have 2 children and you gonna spoil them kids? You're right. They're my children. They're my children. Okay? They need to be spoiled. Okay? But they're gonna be spoiled rotten because my children are gonna have children. And their children are gonna have children. And it's my job as their father to make sure that the generation upon generation thrive, not suffer. Not suffer. If you leave this earth with nothing to your children, suffering continues. Generational curse continues. You understand? So listen, I hope this message reached somebody well today. I hope this message reached somebody well today. Because I'm here on a mission to change the mindset of our people. I am here on a mission to change the way we think, to change our lack thinking, okay, and also to change the way that we show love. Love isn't all about hugging your child. Love isn't all about putting a clothes over their back. Love is making sure that when you're not here, they can still continue on. Love is making sure that you put them in the right position to prosper. You know what made me feel good? That when my son was going to school, I can cut a check. You know what made me feel good? That a few years from now, if my son say, "Dad, I want to buy a house," I can help with a down payment. You understand? If my son say, "Hey, Dad, I found the woman of my life, I want to get married," I can help with the wedding. Okay? Okay? That's love. Love is not just hugs. You know what I'm saying? Like after a while, hugs get old. Your children will grow up and they will need bigger things. You understand? So listen. Again, I hope this message reached the right person well today. I love you guys. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful and blessed one. Change, people. Change. Change this. Whatever was programmed up here by people from your past is a poverty thought process. And you're going to repeat that. And your children going to repeat that. You have a chance to change that thought process and transfer something better for your children. Transfer prosperity mindset to your children. Have a wonderful day.